Hi, in this video I want to talk about inner subjectivity. Might makes right, power makes right, the majority makes right, mob mentality, culture, tradition, how the aberrant cultures and traditions, and how obviously since most cultures and traditions believe a certain thing, or countries, nations, states believe a certain thing, doesn't necessarily mean it's right. It's sort of like Christianity. Regardless of what causes the pain that you experience, it doesn't matter. It's the suffering, the pain that matters, and the pain that matters that you experience, and not the thing that causes the pain. We can all understand pain, and it's about being pained or not being in pain, being comfortable or being in suffering, or experiencing something like that. It's about being in a bad state of mind, being in a bad state, or being in a good, comfortable state of mind, or in a comfortable state in general. And it's the end goal is not having children, reducing population, hopefully reducing population to the point to where it becomes more sustainable, to the point where we can consider an end-game possibility, consideration of having this game end as gracefully as possible. And most people are anti-natalists now, but they're not anti-natalists based on the philosophy of anti-natalism. They're anti-natalists based on the fact that they don't want to take responsibility for having children. And if anything, it's about the end goal. That matters in the end. Recognition, there's something that's bad, there's something that's good. What does best for most people would be the most right thing. And even though we can't necessarily reach the best for all people, we can try our best to doing and knowing something on the scale of understanding what's right and wrong. We can know we're going towards more right than we are towards wrong. Obviously, we can't please everyone and make everything perfect, or considering a circumstance and making everything comfortable for everyone. Obviously, there's going to be circumstances where obviously that's the game that we're playing, is creating this discomfort to create discomfort. And obviously, there's nothing we can do about that, and that's the game of playing this very foundation of the existence that we're living in. This idea of inner subjectivity doesn't exist. It doesn't change the objective truth that we're existing in. It doesn't change the fact that if you affect and harm a sentient being, obviously these scales exist, the weight exists, these impositions exist no matter what, but there's nothing beyond a certain point. We can recognize what's right, but we can only have a reasonable expectation of how this effect and how much wrong that will create based on some good effect that we have. Even if we do something good, the intention doesn't matter, and it matters you obviously have an end effect on this world, and that's all that matters in the end. Can make you recognize that no matter what the end outcome is, no matter how many people believe this and how many people believe that, based on their own circumstances, it doesn't mean what's right. It doesn't prove what's right and what's wrong. But just because you are someone believes something wrong doesn't mean that you're and they think they're right, doesn't mean that you're not right and they're not wrong, and so on and so forth. You both think you're right, doesn't mean you're not wrong and they're not right, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. And it's how it affects all these sentient beings, and how all these other sentient beings interact with these other sentient beings, and how it has an effect on the imposition we have. So inner subjectivity doesn't exist. It's a concept that we can apply based on our own opinions and biases, mob mentality, and things like that, but something beyond that doesn't exist, and it's not a reasonable thing to bring into this world in consideration with all these sentient beings experiencing something, and how all this chaos can create, this chaos of belief and sort can create only a mess and not anything better than that. Really goes beyond that, is this intelligence and recognition. And if we're not using this intelligence for the right reasons to make everything better for everyone, and helping create a better world or society, and then eventually leading to no society, hopefully no society finally reaching an end game. You can believe whatever you want, but that doesn't mean what you believe is true.